The first drop hit Eli Mercer's forehead at 3:17 a.m. By dawn, 3 pots caught the intrusion from a roof that had finally surrendered to Maine's merciless winter. Eli squinted at the gaping hole above his kitchen, inhaling the damp, rotted wood smell that had seeped into everything. His fingers traced the water damage along century-old beams, the same fingers that could shape walnut into heirlooms, but couldn't seem to maintain his own shelter. "You'll need more than a weekend patch job," Dot Wilkins declared, her tiny frame commanding his kitchen despite barely reaching his shoulder. She placed a brown bag of hardware on his counter. "Sarah Cooper. She's got renovation experience and needs work desperately." "I work alone," Eli said, voice rough from disuse. "Your roof says otherwise." Dot's arthritic fingers tapped a phone number written on a receipt. Her husband died from COVID. Got a young daughter. They're being evicted by that Boston vulture, Hargrove. Later that afternoon, Eli watched a worn Honda pull into his driveway. A woman emerged, chestnut hair whipping across her face in the bitter wind. Behind her, a small girl with untamed curls clutched a backpack shaped like a ladybug. "Mr. Mercer." The woman extended her hand. "Sarah Cooper. This is Lily." Her handshake was firmer than he expected. Up close, her eyes were the rich brown of walnut heartwood, shadowed by exhaustion. "Just Eli," he muttered, stepping back to allow necessary distance. "The guest wing is there. It's separate from the main house. You'll handle renovations daily. I'll inspect evenings. That's it." "That's it?" Sarah repeated, her voice calm but her posture stiffening. "I need repairs. You need shelter. It's business." Eli shoved his hands into his pockets. "No need to complicate things with socializing." The little girl, Lily, suddenly spoke. "Your house looks sad, like it's crying." Eli blinked, caught off guard by her directness. "It is," Sarah said softly. "But we know how to help sad houses, don't we, Lily?" Something in Eli's chest tightened, an unfamiliar sensation he quickly suppressed. He handed Sarah a key, careful not to let their fingers touch. "East Wing. Contracts on the table. Sign it tonight." As he retreated to his workshop, the sound of their footsteps echoed through the empty house. The first sounds besides his own in 5 years. He didn't look back, didn't see Sarah watching him, already recognizing a roof wasn't the only thing broken in this house. 3 weeks passed in a dance of avoidance. Eli tracked Sarah and Lily's presence by sounds, footsteps overhead during day, water pipes singing at night, the only evidence of their existence. Notes written in a neat architectural hand. "Fixed kitchen leak. Need more copper flashing asterisk." His replies were equally terse. "In workshop. Help yourself. Dot." Eli worked by lamplight, the scent of sawdust and linseed oil his only companions. His fingers shaped wood with mathematical precision, the one language he still spoke fluently. Sometimes he'd hear Lily's laughter from distant rooms, the sound alien in this tomb of memories. One morning, he found a crayon drawing on his workbench, a rabbit, disproportionate but joyful, playing near a house. No note attached. He'd left it there, unable to explain why. He was sanding cedar when tires crunched on gravel outside. Through cloudy windows, he spotted an SUV with Boston plates. Vincent Hargrove emerged in a cashmere coat, worth more than most locals, made monthly. Eli watched Sarah emerge from the house, arms crossed defensively. Hargrove's smile didn't reach his eyes as he gestured expansively toward the property. When he placed a hand on Sarah's shoulder, Eli found himself moving toward the door before conscious thought. "Problem?" he asked, deliberately positioning himself between them. "Eli, this is Vincent Hargrove. My former landlord. Sarah's voice carried a warning. Hargrove extended his hand. Magnificent property. Wasted potential, though. I have buyers interested in authentic Maine experiences. Eli ignored the outstretched hand. Not for sale? Everything has a price. Hargrove's smile tightened. Sarah, consider my offer to manage vacation rentals. Steady income, unlike temporary arrangements. After Hargrove left, silence stretched between them. You don't have to protect me, Sarah finally said. Wasn't protecting you. Protecting my property. Her eyes flashed. Right, just business. That night, Eli found himself carving a small wooden rabbit, his first spontaneous creation in years. When finished, he placed it outside Lily's door before retreating to his solitude. He didn't see Sarah watching from shadows, her expression softening as she witnessed this tiny breach in his walls, the first parallel line beginning imperceptibly to bend toward another. The blizzard arrived without mercy. Wind screamed through half-repaired sections of roof, while snow buried the world outside. When the power failed at midnight, the ancient farmhouse groaned like a wounded animal. Mom! Lily's voice wavered in the darkness. Sarah appeared in Eli's living room doorway, wrapped in blankets. Our rooms are freezing. The wood stove cast flickering shadows across Eli's face as he stared at the intrusion. After a moment, he nodded toward the hearth. Only heat source now. They settled on opposite sides of the room, the crackling fire between them. Lily curled against her mother, watching Eli with undisguised curiosity. Did you make my rabbit? She finally asked. Eli's hands stilled. Yes. Why? The directness of her question left nowhere to hide. I liked your drawing. This house makes scary noises, Lily observed, but I don't think it's scary. I think it's just sad. Lily, don't bother Mr. Mercer, Sarah murmured. She's not bothering me, Eli said, surprising himself. This house has stories. Like what? Lily wiggled forward eagerly. Words rusted from disuse suddenly found purpose as Eli described his grandfather building the staircase, his grandmother's garden that once flourished outside. As he spoke, something calcified inside him began to crack. You could bring it back, Sarah said, her face golden in the firelight. The garden. Their eyes met across the flames, unguarded in the storm's enforced intimacy. Later, when Lily slept, Sarah whispered, When did you lose them? The question should have raised his defenses, but exhaustion had worn them thin. 5 years, 2 months, 14 days ago. Car accident. Black ice. Sarah nodded, understanding beyond words. 10 months for me. COVID. 3 days from diagnosis to gone. Sleep eventually claimed them, huddled near the stove's warmth. In his dreams, Eli ran through snow toward headlights, awakening with a strangled cry that echoed through the silent house. He found Sarah watching him, her eyes reflecting his pain back at him. I still dream about them, too, she said simply. By morning, the roads were impassable. As they shared coffee, heated on the wood stove, something had shifted between them. Boundaries still intact, but somehow less impenetrable, like the first hairline cracks in river ice before the spring thaw. Eli left his workshop door ajar. A deliberate 2 inches, not an invitation, he told himself, merely practical ventilation. But when small footsteps approached, he didn't close it. What are you making? Lily asked, hovering at the threshold. He handed her a scrap of maple. Feel that? Her fingers traced the grain reverently. It's warm. Wood remembers the sun, Eli said, surprising himself with the poetic thought. Want to sand it? Lily's face brightened as he guided her small hands on the sandpaper. Gentle, with the grain, not against it. From the doorway, Sarah watched silently, tucking hair behind her ear, a gesture Eli had unconsciously begun to look for. Later, exploring an unused room, Sarah discovered them. Exquisite furniture pieces, hidden beneath drop-cloths. A rocking chair with impossibly fluid curves. A crib with woodland creatures carved along its rails. Eli found her there, fingers tracing the unfinished cradle. These were for them, he said, voice tight. For our future. The admission hung between them. Sarah turned, eyes glistening. They're beautiful, Eli. They're ghosts. No. She shook her head firmly. They're proof you can create beauty, even after loss. That evening, Sarah shared her own ghosts, designed dreams abandoned for her husband's career, discovering his gambling debts only after his death. I became so focused on surviving, I forgot about living. When does that part come back? Eli asked, the question stripped bare. Before she could answer, Dot arrived with urgent news. Vincent Hargrove was at the town meeting, proposing zoning changes that would transform the area into vacation developments. They need someone to speak against it, Dot insisted. Someone with history here. Eli shook his head. I don't do public. If not you, who? Sarah challenged. This affects all of us. All of us. The phrase echoed as Eli found himself standing before the town council that night, voice strengthening as he spoke about preservation and community, words he'd forgotten he believed in. Afterward, walking home beneath stars brilliant in the cold night, Sarah's shoulder occasionally brushed his. Neither moved away. You have a voice worth hearing, she said softly. Something fundamental was shifting beneath them, invisible but essential changes to the foundation upon which they stood. Spring arrived with insistent green pushing through melting snow. The house transformed, Sarah's design vision complementing Eli's craftsmanship in ways neither could achieve alone. Lily planted a garden with Dot's heirloom seeds, her excitement infectious as she monitored each emerging sprout. They need patience, she informed Eli solemnly, just like sad houses and sad people. The comment lingered as Eli watched Sarah sketch renovation plans, her hair falling forward as she worked. He'd begun noticing everything. The freckle beneath her left ear, how she hummed unconsciously when concentrating, the grace in her capable hands. One afternoon, the house felt too quiet. Sarah called for Lily, panic edging her voice when no answer came. She was following a rabbit, their neighbor reported, headed toward the woods. Dread coiled in Eli's stomach as daylight waned. I know these woods, he said, already moving. I'll find her. Hours passed as they searched, calling Lily's name into deepening shadows. When Eli finally spotted a flash of pink jacket near the old creek, something primal broke loose inside him. Lily! His voice cracked as he rushed forward, lifting her small body. Are you hurt? She blinked up at him, tear-streaked but whole. I got lost. The trees looked the same everywhere. He crushed her against his chest, heart hammering. I've got you. You're safe. When he carried her home to Sarah's waiting arms, the relief between them was palpable, a shared fear that had stripped away pretense. Later, as Sarah tucked Lily into bed, Eli hovered in the doorway, unable to leave, unwilling to intrude. You can come in, Sarah said softly. He stepped inside, awkward but determined. I was so afraid. I know. Their eyes met in perfect understanding. The next morning, Eli showed Sarah his workshop fully, not just the space, but his techniques, his ideas. Their hands brushed as he demonstrated a joining method, electricity sparking between them. Sarah looked up, their faces inches apart. The moments stretched, waited with possibility, until her phone shattered the silence. "A job offer," she said afterward, voice careful. "In Portland. Design firm." "That's good." Eli's walls reassembled instantly. "You should take it." "Should I?" Sarah's question hung unanswered as he turned away, retreating from the pain of another inevitable loss. Behind him, Sarah watched his withdrawal, her expression a complex mixture of disappointment and resolve. Moving boxes appeared like tombstones throughout the renovated house. Eli worked feverishly in his shop, the whine of his saw drowning thoughts he couldn't face. His hands shaped wood with desperate precision, while his mind churned with words unsaid. Dot cornered him at the hardware store. "You're making the same mistake twice." "What mistake?" he growled, choosing safety over living. She slapped a folder on the counter. "My succession plan. This store needs someone who understands craft and community. Could be you and Sarah." Eli stared at her. "She's leaving." "Because you haven't given her reason to stay." Meanwhile, Sarah organized their meager possessions, each item a weight on her chest. Between packing, she refined her business proposal, designs incorporating Eli's craftsmanship into a sustainable enterprise. A dream partnership she couldn't bring herself to share. "Why can't we stay?" Lily demanded, refusing to pack her treasures. "Eli needs us." "Sweetie, he hasn't asked us to." "Grown-ups are stupid," Lily declared. The day before departure, Vincent Hargrove arrived unannounced, manila envelope in hand. "Final offer on the property," he announced, following Eli into the workshop uninvited. "I've purchased surrounding parcels. Access could become complicated if you refuse." Eli set down his tools. "Threatening me?" "Being practical. This area's changing. You're on the wrong side of progress." Later, Sarah found Eli staring at property maps. "Hargrove's trying to force you out?" "He won't succeed." Their eyes met, the air between them charged with everything unsaid. Sarah tucked hair behind her ear. "Eli, I made something," he interrupted, revealing a project hidden beneath canvas. A dollhouse replica of the farmhouse, every detail perfect, down to the garden Lily had planted. Sarah's fingers traced the miniature porch swing. "It's extraordinary." "It's for Lily, so she remembers." "Remembers what?" The question hovered as they stood together in the workshop that smelled of sawdust and possibility, both knowing that remembering wasn't enough, not when there might still be a future to build. Moving day dawned with cruel perfection, sunshine illuminating the house they'd transformed together. Eli carried the dollhouse to the car, his movements mechanical, while his mind screamed. "Thank you," Sarah said, accepting the gift. Their fingers brushed, lingering. Helping load the final box, Eli discovered a portfolio Sarah had missed, design sketches merging her vision with his craftsmanship, accompanied by a business plan. "What is this?" he asked, pages trembling in his hands. Sarah's cheeks flushed. "A possibility I was afraid to suggest." Before she could explain, Vincent Hargrove's SUV roared into the driveway. He emerged, waving legal documents, easement restrictions. Sign now or face litigation. Something crystallized in Eli as he watched Hargrove's smug confidence, the same something that had been building since the night of the blizzard. "Get off my property," he said, voice steady. "You can't fight progress, Mercer. This place is meant for people who appreciate its value." "People like me?" Sarah stepped forward. "A designer who sees potential beyond profit?" "And people like me," Dot added, appearing from her truck. "Fourth-generation local who remembers when community meant something." Hargrove's expression hardened. "Sentimentality doesn't pay bills." "Neither does soulless development," Eli countered, then turned to Sarah. "Don't go." "What?" "Stay, not as my tenant, as my partner." He gestured to her portfolio. "This vision, we could build it together." "Business partners?" Sarah asked cautiously. "That, and more." Eli's voice dropped. "I've been hiding from life since I lost them. Then you and Lily arrived, and I started remembering what matters." Sarah's eyes glistened. "I've been afraid to hope for more." "I'm afraid too," Eli admitted, "but I'm more afraid of letting you leave." Lily suddenly produced a key from her pocket. "I accidentally took this off Mom's key ring." "Accidentally?" Sarah raised an eyebrow. Lily shrugged. "Grown-ups need help sometimes." Hargrove interrupted. "This is touching, but legally?" "Legally," Dot interjected. "The town council rejected your zoning proposal last night. Unanimous." Months later, they hosted an open house showcasing their design-build collaboration. The renovated farmhouse welcomed neighbors with warmth that extended beyond physical comfort. As twilight descended, Eli, Sarah, and Lily sat on the porch swing he'd finally built. Fireflies emerged like stars brought to earth, dancing around Lily as she chased them across the lawn. "She looks happy," Eli observed, his arm around Sarah. "We all do." Sarah leaned into him. "Who would have thought a broken roof could lead to this?" "Not a broken roof," he corrected, kissing her temple. "A foundation. Rebuilt." The house stood behind them, strong and beautiful, not despite its repairs, but because of them. Every mended crack, telling the story of how three broken people had found wholeness together.